Kayla Johnson was used to being the new kid. Moving around with her single mother, who was always chasing the next job opportunity, had meant switching schools every couple of years. It wasn't easy, but Kayla had always kept her head down and tried to blend in. She had learned early on that keeping a low profile was the best way to avoid drawing attention. But when her mother landed a stable job in a small suburban town, things were supposed to change. For the first time, Kayla hoped she would have some time to settle in and finally make some friends. The first few days at Hillcrest High had gone relatively well. She kept to herself, trying to get the lay of the land. But that was before she caught the attention of the school's most notorious bullies. A clique of girls led by Tori, a popular and ruthless figure who took pleasure in making others' lives miserable. Tori and her friends were the type of girls who felt powerful only when they were putting someone else down. And for some reason, Kayla, with her deep brown skin and quiet demeanor, had become their target. It started with small, almost unnoticeable jabs, whispered comments behind her back, the occasional glance when she walked through the halls. But as the days went on, it became clear that they were going to escalate it. One afternoon after gym class, Tori and her group cornered Kayla by her locker. Tori smirked, eyeing Kayla as she shoved her shoulder into the smaller girl's. "What's up, new girl?" Tori said, her voice dripping with venom. "You think you're better than us just because you got a fresh start? You're nothing but a project for us to play with." Kayla gritted her teeth, her fists tightening. She had learned long ago to avoid confrontation. Her mother had always told her to keep quiet and not stoop to others' level. But something in Tori's attitude, the way she looked down at Kayla as if she were less than human, made her blood boil. "Leave me alone, Tori," Kayla said, her voice quiet but firm. "I'm just here to get through the day. I'm not interested in whatever you're trying to do." Tori and her friends burst out laughing, clearly enjoying the discomfort they were causing. "Oh, we're going to make you want to leave. Trust me," one of Tori's friends, a tall girl with blonde hair, said, a malicious glint in her eyes. "We know how to make your life miserable, new girl, and we're just getting started." Kayla wanted to walk away, to escape. But as she turned to leave, Tori's hand shot out, grabbing her arm. "Not so fast, Kayla," Tori said. "You think you can just walk away without a little fun?" Before Kayla could react, the group of girls shoved her into the row of lockers, causing her to stumble. She caught herself just in time, but the humiliation burned through her. They laughed louder now, the sound echoing down the hall. But as Kayla looked up at Tori, something inside her snapped. She had spent too long being the quiet, invisible girl. She was done. "Let go of me!" Kayla shouted, her voice rising with a power she hadn't known she had. Tori's smirk widened. "Make me?" In that moment, something changed in Kayla. She wasn't just the new girl anymore. She wasn't going to be a target. She wasn't going to be walked over. Kayla had spent years training with her father, a former boxing champion who had taught her how to defend herself. She wasn't afraid to fight back. With a burst of energy, Kayla shoved Tori's hand off her arm, spinning around quickly to land a powerful punch square in Tori's face. The force of the blow stunned Tori, and she staggered back, her eyes wide in disbelief. The other girls, shocked by Kayla's sudden aggression, took a step back. Kayla stood there, breathing heavily, her heart pounding in her chest. She knew the fight wasn't over, but for the first time, she felt in control. She wasn't the one who was going to be humiliated. Not today. The tension in the hallway grew thick as the crowd of students watching the confrontation began to murmur. Kayla's pulse raced, but she didn't back down. She had grown up with her father's lessons in discipline and strength. She had learned how to fight, how to stand her ground, but she had also been taught the importance of control. She wasn't some punching bag for Tori and her friends. They needed to understand that. Tori, now clutching her cheek where Kayla had landed the punch, stood in stunned silence for a moment. But the silence didn't last long. Tori's expression darkened, her pride taking a hit that she wasn't going to let slide. "You think you can just hit me and get away with it?" Tori hissed, wiping the blood from her lip. She lunged at Kayla, but before she could land another blow, Kayla reacted with the reflexes she had been training for her entire life. She sidestepped and grabbed Tori's arm, twisting it behind her back and pushing her toward the lockers. Kayla's grip was strong, and the force of the move left Tori struggling to break free. The crowd gasped, some even cheering Kayla on, realizing they were witnessing something far more intense than a schoolyard scuffle. "I'm not afraid of you," Kayla growled, her voice filled with confidence, "and you don't get to bully me anymore." Tori struggled, but Kayla's grip was too strong. The other girls who had once supported Tori were now hesitating, unsure of what to do. Kayla had caught them off guard. This wasn't the new girl they had expected to push around. This was a fighter, someone who wasn't afraid to stand up for herself. With a final twist, Kayla pushed Tori into the lockers with a force that left Tori gasping for breath. The once confident and arrogant girl was now on the ground, nursing her wounds. Kayla took a step back, looking around at the other students who had gathered to watch. Some of them looked shocked, others impressed. It was clear that the tables had turned. For the first time in her life, Kayla felt powerful. She had taken control of her own story. But as she turned to walk away, she knew that this fight wasn't over. The school bullies would remember this. And Kayla wasn't going to stop until they understood one thing. You don't mess with her. As Kayla walked out of the hallway, she could hear Tori's friends murmuring among themselves. She's not just some quiet girl. She's a fighter. And from that moment on, Kayla knew she wasn't just the new girl anymore. She was someone to be reckoned with.